and Mark Unleashed.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Matt Demaz here, and welcome to episode 35 of the Matt and Mark Unleashed podcast.
Hey.
As you can see here, we've got an actual proper dual mic setup, unlike the other time we tried something like this where it was both literally condenser mics. Oh, Jesus Christ. The audio bleed was nightmarish. But anyway, now that I've got an SM58 here, this is mine. I actually bought this recently. Yeah, it's not yours, Mark. Fuck you.
No, I know. Oh, careful. The ad revenue's just gone down. Don't say fuck.
What ad revenue? I'm not even partnered anymore. How can I get? How can I get ad revenue?
I didn't mean
but it's nice to have a SM7B and an SM58. It just makes things sound so much more, professional and just more podcasty. It's not like, I mean, the NT1 was not a bad microphone at all by any means. I just feel like when you've got dynamic microphones, the background noise rejection is just so enormous with these mics, which means even if you have good treatment like I have, like I've got mattresses, foam everywhere, like with a condenser mic, that doesn't really matter because you can still hear the shit everywhere, so much ambient noise. Well, and when I got these that's the reason why I wanted to get a dynamic mics is because, even if your treatment isn't like, $1 million treatment, like a high-end studio, you can still get that same type of sound with a dynamic mic because it rejects a lot of the ambient noise that a condenser would still pick up because your treatment isn't like insanely, good. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if you're starting a podcast and you want to be taken serious, A, get a dynamic mic, and B, at least get some sort of treatment because it does help. I mean, obviously, if you're starting up a podcast in an empty room where there's like a freaking monstrous echo, that's not going to be a good idea. I mean, even the dynamic will still pick that up. So, anyway, that's just, I suppose we could just talk about mics today. I mean, there's not really much I want to discuss. Let's start off with tech. As you can see, I've got my Discord actually sorted out now, so we've got like an actual thing that I can read off to help me remember stuff. So with tech, we've got is the Sony A5100 worth buying in 2019? What do you reckon, Mike?
It depends on what you want to get. Does it suit your needs? Yes, go get it then. End of fucking story.
Very elaborate explanation, opinion there, Mark. It's a hot take if I ever heard one.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's supposed to be a vlogging mic, isn't it? I mean, it's got the flip screen and everything. I mean, I've heard everyone talking about it, saying like it's like God's gift to vloggers and whatnot, and I'm like, it's okay. I mean, I've seen people shoot short films on it, so it's not like it's a terrible camera. It's actually pretty good with a good lens.
When is it released? What is that?
I believe it came out upwards of 6 years ago. I think it's pretty old. I think it might be as old as the original A7. I could be wrong on that, but I don't know. It's definitely older than the A6000 and the A6400 and all that by several years. So I'd say it's a viable option. If you're a vlogger and you need a camera that you can take with you on the go, I'd definitely say pick it up. Spectre Sound Studios had a video up recently called Mixing Metal with No Money. Now, I mean, I watched his video and he makes a lot of good points, but me personally, I have no money. I find mixing stuff without analog hardware definitely saves you money. I mean, wouldn't you agree? Not paying $2,000 for an Avalon 737 or freaking several $1,000s for a really high-end Marshall amp head will definitely save you money. Using virtual amplifiers like amp simulators like Amplitude 4 and like all the bias stuff definitely would save you money. But I think it definitely comes down to taste. I believe if you, in your workflow, if you work better in a DAW and you work well with plugins, by all means use virtual amps. But if you're a purist, you have your own studio, you've got like a console, you've got mixers, you've got amps, you've got compressors, distressors, limiters, everything. By all means use outboard gear, because in my honest opinion, I do believe outboard gear is a lot better than, well, maybe just slightly better. I wouldn't say a lot better because there's a lot of Waves plugins that I actually prefer over analog gear. But definitely you will get a better result if you use like an analog noise gate, for example, with the DBX286S. I believe the noise gate on that is just absolutely phenomenal, and it's very responsive. I feel like analog gear definitely plays a part in giving you better results. Example, preamps. If you're using a mic like an SM7B or SM58, you want to have a preamp before you enter the interface, which is not what we have set up right now. We're just going directly into the interface, so I've got the gain cranked all the way up to God knows what. But about 4 o'clock for both. I mean, the SM58 requires just slightly less gain than this thing, so about 2 notches less. But I feel like if you have a nice preamp, or you have something like a cloud lifter to give these types of mics a boost, or if you have a DI box for your guitar so you can get clean recordings into your DAW and whatnot, that'll help. That'll help. It helps to have some outboard gear. But like I said, if you're on a budget and you can't afford that sort of stuff, it's like, say if you wanted to record guitars for an album, and you saw this video about DI boxes or whatnot, and you're like, oh man, $250. You gotta ask yourself, do you really need to have a clean recording of your guitar? If you could hear everything in your DAW as you're playing, and it's you just tweak the sound yourself. We're using plugins and whatnot. You don't really need to you don't really have to reamp something, do you? If you're using virtual amps, see that's the whole point of a DI box, so you can reamp stuff, I believe. But I feel like if you have a really good mixer, like a 10-channel mixer, like what Mark has, he had my Yamaha 10-channel mixer that was actually kind of faulty. The noise floor was higher than it should have been, and it really shouldn't have been.
No, I should probably elaborate on that one.
Really?
It's the Yamaha MG10XU.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the effect board because I like to have the distortion for the memes. But no, I threw it over to the reseller, and they agreed with me that the noise floor of about minus 70 dB was too high, considering like it's a 24-bit mixer. You're not even getting like 80 dB noise floor, which is a little bit more typical for the price range. So we took it down to the Yamaha authorized technician to see whether or not there was actually a problem with it. And as much as the store agreed with me that it was a little bit high, the Yamaha technicians didn't think so. They thought that was perfectly normal. Apparently about a 70 dB of DR is perfectly acceptable.
That is some BS. That's not. I
don't get why they call it a 24-bit mixing console. You don't get 24-bit. You don't even get 16-bit range. It's really, really limited in that sense. I kind of wish they could put in a slightly better amp.
Yeah, you kind of really need 24-bit when you're recording because that gives you more dynamic range. It increases the distance between the signal to noise. So in post, when you cram it down to a 16-bit, the noise floor just takes the nosedive, which is nice. You kind of need it. Let me just break this down for you audio nerds out there that don't really know much about this. Basically, say if you got like 41 kilohertz, let's just say an audio frequency is basically like the frame rate of a camera, and the bit depth is the resolution. So 48 kilohertz, just a little bit more. It captures a little bit more detail, a little bit more sound, but it's not really. Honestly, you need bit depth more than you need a higher kilohertz or whatever you would call that. Most CDs use 44.1. A lot of YouTube videos use 48,000 kilohertz. So you gotta work with what you can do. Work with what's best. I would personally choose a higher bit depth over a higher frequency response, or whatever that you call that. The 41, the 44.1, and the 48, and the 92, and the 192 kilohertz.
That's what we need right now. Supersonic frequencies.
I mean, when people rip vinyls, they tend to do it at 192,000.
I do find there is actually, oddly enough, frequency data up there, like past 40 kilohertz. Like if you look at it on a spectrogram, there, you don't see it. Won't replicate it on your speakers.
No, of course not.
But we got the data.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like I could probably do a slightly better analogy. Imagine if you have, for instance, a camcorder and it does full HD, and you want to do cinema work with it like a movie, and you want to scale in a little bit so that you can stabilize the footage, maybe, because when you stabilize, it crops off the edges a bit so that you don't see black box artifacting, which so you could do that, and then you lose a little bit of resolution. That's like recording 16-bit mixes, making a 16-bit master.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess it really depends, what application, what you want to do. If you're ripping vinyl, then of course try to get as much detail as you can. I mean, because it's vinyl. You've got a lot of dynamic range on records. But like, if you're just recording just voiceover, I mean, 44 really works out for me. I mean, but you just got to make sure you have access to 24-bit, because if you don't have the resolution, you're going to have so much noise in post. It's going to be ridiculous.
The rest of the analogy being, let's say you had a 4K camcorder or a 4K cinema camera, then you can zoom in, you can crop a shot,
of course,
pan virtually in the software. So many other things with it that don't degrade the picture because you've got that added pixel density. That's like having a 24-bit mixing console.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I always, even as much as I've had problems with this audio box, at least the 24-bit is really essential. It definitely makes things bearable. I believe if this was limited to 16-bit and, the noise that I'm getting right now, which is absolutely obnoxious, that would be furtherly accentuated. It would just be ridiculous. I wouldn't be able to work with that. I'd have to raise the noise gate up and then do further gating in post, most likely. But, it's nice to have a nice dynamic signal going into your interface that you could work with easily. And a lot of people don't really bother worrying about that. And it's kind of annoying because you kind of need to have the resolution if you want a clean sound.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Music. I forgot to post it in here, but Metallica are working on a new album.
Yeah, they are.
So that's nice to know. It should come out sometime in next year, I believe. Let me just quickly post it in the music session so that you guys, just for the sake of consistency, where the fuck did I put it? Oh wow, I've had a lot of people join. And so I had 2 people join. Let me just put it in the music section just to remind people. Because, I'll post music news as well as songs instead of just songs like I did originally. But yeah, there's your boy Kirk. Looking mighty old. I mean, that'll happen after about, 35 years.
You reckon if he coloured his hair, he wouldn't fool anyone?
I don't know. I feel like he looks great for his age. I mean, he always looked kind of baby-faced. I think it might be because he's a little bit Filipino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of has an islander look to him, so I guess he's just got good genes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Kind of like me. I'm like for almost 30, and I've had someone actually ask for ID because they thought I was fucking under 18. That's flattering, but it's also pretty depressing because, because of the fact that I don't abuse my body, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, drink, or anything, and then you see people my age that look terrible, and it's like, ugh. It's depressing that it's so easy to look after yourself, but a lot of people just don't get that. They'd rather just drink themselves to death. It's ridiculous.
I like the line that keeps coming up on the internet every so often. It's like, wait, so there are people out there that don't do drugs, they don't do alcohol, so they're just
it's mainly drugs, really.
They're just raw dogging through life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind having a beer every now and then. I don't mind alcohol. Yeah. I just responsibly drink. I drink it responsibly the best I can. Some days I'll get bored, but I don't make it a habit to just if you wake up in the morning and you need a drink, that's when you've got a problem. I don't feel that, honestly.
You know people who do.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to gaming news. Okay, so Twitch streamer, whatever that says, I can't read it. I'll get terrible vision banned for blackface and nip slips. Well, fair enough, I guess. I mean, it's kind of a stupid thing to be, exposing yourself in front of God knows how many people. But it can't. This kind of nonsense kind of accentuates the theme of chaos that is Twitch right now. That's going on Twitch right now. Just seems like everyone's losing their goddamn minds. You've literally got people on Twitch admitting to do federal crimes on stream, which is, like that girl that was admitting that she smuggled drugs. I forgot to put that in here, but there you go. There's a little tidbit for you. But I feel like
last time I dressed up as a girl on Twitch. Aw. I'm not the one with the drugs. I didn't know. I feel like I have to explain myself now, and then explain the joke and make it super funny. Woo! I feel like, I don't know, if you do blackface on Twitch, you're kind of asking for it. You know that their politics are very sensitive, is a good way to put it.
Well, like I said in the previous podcasts, Twitch is headquartered in San Francisco, and those guys aren't exactly the most conservative people in the world.
Well,
speaking of San Francisco, here's a nice transition. Apparently, San Francisco poop is everywhere.
It's everywhere
in the beloved city of SF. I mean, when you see stuff like this, it kind of reminds you that this is how the fucking Black Death started in England. The plague. Because there was shit all over the roads and everything. It was ridiculous. Homeless people would poop everywhere and whatnot. I mean,
coming through.
I really don't like getting political, and when I do, I usually cross the line and alienate people. But I'll just say this now.
Don't shit in the streets.
This wasn't exactly the browning up America they wanted.
Oh.
I mean, because Democrats, they're all like, let all the immigrants in, let them all in, and conservatives, the general consensus is that they all want to keep them out. And when you see a very highly liberal leftist state like
leftist what?
City like San Francisco, and then you see like literally immigrants shitting everywhere, it's like, well, there you go, have fun. Just the poop is literally like multiplied. You're literally gonna end up creating the next ebonic plague, which because rats, they carry that bacteria still. It's not like they got rid of it. It's easy for human fecal matter to mix in with some nasty shit and create a new outbreak. And that's the last thing America needs, quite frankly.
Another outbreak. Have you seen, like, God, what was it? That, not meningococcal. That, the one where you get the shingles? Like chickenpox? Measles.
Yeah, measles.
I think it's measles. It was an outbreak, I think, in the early 90s.
Mm.
And then they started to become more vaccinated. The US started to become more vaccinated. Like, getting double shots. Booster shots and all of that.
Yeah.
And I've just seen this morning. There's a little bit of an uptick in those kind of very vaccinatable diseases. Like there is a bit of a movement going on, and it's making people ill.
Mm. It happens. It'll happen eventually if people start to get more careless, like what's going on now. So, I'm not here to tell people what to do, but really, these guys need to fix their shit. I mean, if you're gonna be leftist, if you're gonna be a democratic country, city, so be it. But for the love of God, clean up your shit. Anyway, we're gonna have a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Anyway, let's go on to our next thing. So, the whole KickVic brouhaha's still been going on for the past since February, and it's finally gotten to a point where lawsuits are starting to happen, and it's not looking good for KickVic. I actually had a comment from a KickVicer on the previous podcast episode where he was like, I bet you feel good defending a molester, honey. I bet you get on well with the ladies, yeah. And then literally random people started commenting, leaving comments on that and whatnot. And because I added the hashtag I stand with Vic, YouTube's algorithm grabbed my video and started to, put it into more search possibilities. Like someone types in I stand with Vic, my video would actually come up because of the tag, which is probably why I was getting random people commenting, which was interesting. I never had that kind of activity on my channel in a long time. But yeah, he deleted his comment along with all the replies that me and other people made. But your boy Zanzibar Man 123, shouts out to him. He did a screen cap, and I'll just load this up for you guys. Boom. Yep, basically me and I just completely annihilated this guy, because I do work in the industry. I work in voice acting and whatnot. I do stuff for people on, I'm in multiple Discords where I work on stuff. So, it's, you really have to take into consideration before you spout bullshit on the internet that, in reality, supporting the malicious acts that have been going on, with KickVic and everything. It's just, look at this. It keeps going. Like, this videos everywhere. Listen to the name of this thing. Funimation fired Vic over Jelly Bean, and that's not clickbait. If you guys can go watch Yellow Flash's video. He's really good at what he does. And so is Hero Hey. Shouts out to him. I was actually going to join his Discord, but I was having second thoughts about it. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that chaos right now. I kind of like these laid back Discords I'm in now, but maybe eventually I'll join. But anyway, yeah, these guys, and Senpai's Home does some really good content as well. Check him out as well. But yeah, basically, the nonsense that has been going on is ridiculous, and to see people still defend, this bullshit after all of these, all of this stuff that's been, going up, going down, and to still be able to defend those types of those people is just absolutely absurd. I mean, the lawsuit that was it just absolutely destroys everyone in KickVic. Like, there's no way anybody could go into court and be taken seriously with a lawsuit like this, which basically just ensures their defeat straight away. False allegations, just straight up lies, defamation. You've ruined someone's career, even if he's found, to be innocent. At the end of the day, you've completely ruined his job. You've ruined his successful career at Funimation. You've ruined his life. God knows what his loved ones are thinking right now. Everyone, all these crazy people think he's a sexual predator. That must be absolutely terrible. Even if you're innocent, and all these other people know he's innocent. Even Elon Musk himself changed his profile picture to Edward Elric. Even when our Lord and Savior himself, Elon Musk, supports Vic Mignogna, that this man must be innocent. No, in all seriousness, KickVic is such a hopeless movement right now. The fact that they go on random YouTubers' channels and leave these ignorant comments just goes to show how desperately, how pathetically desperate they are to try to rationalize any sort of anything that these people have done. There's no way you can justify the false allegations. There's no way you can justify the fake swatting, all of this stuff was the reason why Vic got fired was all because of hearsay. Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, and all those other weirdos all just wanted to get rid of the guy for whatever reason. even though, they seem to be best buddies, not too long ago. I mean, it just seems like, I don't know. It's just stupid. The whole thing's stupid. And it's good. It's nice to know. It's nice to know that at least something good will come out of this, which will be this lawsuit. Hero, he took like a good 20 minutes to explain this. But that kind of gives you an idea of how detailed this lawsuit is. 22 minutes to explain it.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Might be filler.
Well, I know Hero is no law expert, but he kind of breaks it down in layman's terms, which is good. But I feel like there's no way you could contest this. There's no way. And if you do, God bless you, but you're in for a world of pain. Unless the worst case scenario is the judge rocks up with a rainbow colored hairstyle, wearing glasses, and, rules against the toxic white males, that's the worst case scenario. And most judges you'll find in America are Republican.
Yeah.
So
they try to keep it fair, though.
Oh yeah, of course. They do their best. But anyway, I kind of feel there's no way this lawsuit will fail, and that's the bottom line at the end of the day. Well, guess we'll end it at that. Sorry I couldn't really go much more deep into it. I'm kind of going off my head right now.
Yeah.
I have been preparing to talk about this for a while, but I kind of didn't know how I wanted to approach it. I mean, I knew it was going to be a daunting thing to talk about because there's so much detail. There's so much, stuff going on, and you really have to do your research, and I don't have the time for that. I'm always working. I'm too busy to do anything. It's a miracle I've even got this set up right now with the cameras and the mics and everything. I just do my research the best I can and, get things done.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're doing a decent job at it, at least.
I try to make it work.
What
limited budget I have. Anyway, let's check out the promo that we've got going on for my channels. Self promo. Christy Teabag has a link to his Discord, which I joined.
Yay!
One of the announcements. Happy Easter. Oh. And,
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yesterday was April.
I don't really want to have to see that.
April the 20th. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was...
So yeah, let's move on.
Well, I mean, Easter. I don't really give a shit about public holidays like I used to. It's like Christmas comes, it's like, yeah, I get to drink a little bit and have a bit of fun. It's like Easter comes, it's like work as usual, just like what's going on now.
Yeah,
basically. But we've got some eggs. You can show people the egg.
Eggs. I've got an egg. Do we want to do an ASMR podcast while we're at it? Or I start to unwrap it?
I don't think that mic's sensitive enough for ASMR.
Unless...
you could do... Actually, it's quite possible you could do a decent ASMR video with two SM7B because of the noise rejection.
No, I like my microphones to be balanced. I like my binaural microphones to cost thousands of dollars.
Of these. They would be balanced because they're the same output.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just making a joke about people who get...
it wouldn't be exactly the same because, transistors, they're all different and whatnot.
Oh, there are
electronics are all different.
Sets of microphones that are calibrated specifically to be as close to each other as possible.
Yeah.
And let's spend all of our money on that rather than anything remotely important.
Yeah, like cleaning up the poop in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I won't do that again.
One thing I like about this mic, though, the SM7B, is when you start bursting out laughing and you go down like this, the mic rejects it, so it's not so ear rapey anymore.
I don't reject my chewing, though.
This is Rode NT1. Its pickup range is quite big. This is kind of V-shaped, like this. So it's
a cone.
Yeah, it's a very nice cone. The cardioid is really tight. Very nice. But yeah, it's nice to have these upgrades. I mean, I really hate replacing a Rode NT1 with a SM7B an upgrade because they're both fantastic microphones. It's I wouldn't say it's an upgrade. It's more like just a change. you know, because I prefer to have less background noise and ambient noise, I suppose.
Yeah, you do like to keep everything very sterile,
I suppose.
no ambience, and like the opposite of me. I like room noise.
I mean, you know, I get the aesthetics of having a bit of reverb. It kind of makes things feel a little bit more raw, you know.
Yeah.
Nice. I like watching YouTube videos that have a bit of reverb. It's like, yeah, man, you do you.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell that they don't really care about it because they've got this pro setup with like an SM7B or a Rode NT1 and all these cool mics, and they just slap a couple of pieces of foam on the wall and just call it a day.
Yeah.
You know, they don't bother with the mattresses, the walls of foam, and the other mattresses, other blow-up mattresses or whatever. You know, they're happy just to slap a bit of foam here and there and call it a day.
That's more of a design aesthetic. They're not doing technically any work
I
for
wouldn't.
it. You wouldn't use it for a design aesthetic?
Yeah, exactly. I would call it quite, because you see a lot of studios that just have the rectangular pieces of foam just on the wall just to look pretty. I see that in a lot of radio studios.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I used to work for 4ZZZ, basically the radio station was just, it was soundproof perfectly. Like the walls and everything were all like carpet and whatnot, you know what I mean? It was kind of like really thick carpet, so like the sound couldn't bounce anywhere.
No, that's right.
It's basically you just put foam around it on your walls, except it's also inside the walls. Unlike my room where I've just got the foam on the walls, with these walls are really thin, so you pick up a lot of outside noise, which is another reason why I prefer a dynamic, because it rejects a lot of that, which is nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, I understand why people prefer condensers. They have a fantastic sound, they pick up a wider frequency than most dynamics. I mean, I think the Shure actually probably picks up about as much as a condenser, maybe slightly less. But, you know, I know with the Shure SM58, it's kind of more like a live mic. The background noise rejection is a lot more, I believe, than most mics like this. That's why a lot of people prefer it. With the 57 as well, the SM57 has nice rejection, so a lot of people prefer to use those for guitar cabinets. You know, I feel like it all comes down to taste. Whatever mic works for you, you know, go for it. I mean, I personally just wasn't feeling Rode anymore, which is depressing because I still have the I Love Rode microphone sticker on the wall. Yeah. And every time I look at that, I hate myself. But you know,
Rode's not that. At least Rode's Australian. It's got a bit of nationality to it.
It's nice to be able to keep my Rode mic in the closet there just for a rainy day. If I ever get myself a new guitar cabinet, I'll be able to test it out and see what happens, because I got the Mesa over there and all that. And usually, if you're recording a guitar cabinet with a condenser mic like a Rode, you'd probably want to use it with a dynamic as well. Like, I see a lot of people miking up cabinets with two mics. Like, they'll put a condenser here and then the dynamic here.
Oh.
Try to give it like a kind of a. Oh, I bumped the mic there. Sorry.
You
You kind of get like a nice phasing sound, sort of, in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of gives guitars a more powerful sound.
Yeah, it boosts.
And it boosts the high frequencies too, because condenser mics, they pick up a lot of high frequencies, you know. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you be the judge. But with the Shure SM7B, it tends to deaden the sound because it has a high frequency cut. Kind of drop off. So, you know, with the Rode mics, you've kind of got like a really flat signal. It's kind of just straight down the middle.
Yeah, to be honest, that's the reason why I went for the Rode shotgun mic.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're pretty flat. I like them better than the Sennheiser
ones. I noticed that the Rode NTG1 actually has a similar frequency response to the NT1.
Yeah,
you know, so I know why they called it that.
Yeah, and like on a similar vein, I got the NTG2, which is basically the one but with the phantom power AA battery option.
Yeah, so well, it's nice to have that a little bit extra active gain. Yeah, because shotguns actually produce a lot of noise.
And you've got to get a good amp for the NT.
Oh yeah, I mean you could probably use like an active preamp, like a fathead Phantom. I mean you can actually use those for condensers, I believe.
Oh yeah.
So it's nice to get one of those as well. Get a nice 25 dB gain or whatever.
There's that, and then there is the cloud lift, but I don't think there's any real difference in sound between the two. I've done like an A/B comparison, and they sound very similar.
Yeah.
And if you go with the fathead, you have the option to pass phantom power through to your mic, so you got a bit more of an option there.
Yeah, the Fed
That's
head.
the cheaper one. Like, okay.
Yeah, the Fed head gives about 25 dB, and so does the cloud lifter. I think the cloud lifter maybe has just a little bit more quality. It just has a more crisper sound. It doesn't really color the audio too much. So
The fathead really colors it at all. Honest.
no, I haven't really gone deep into it. There's some people in the podcasters Discord, this one here, that have done tests and whatnot, and I've messed around with it and just, I've watched several videos on it, and I don't think there's much of an audible difference. I mean, at this point, you'd be getting a cloud. Why does my mouse do that? I really need to get a new mouse. I just got this cheap Logitech one. It costs like $10, and it's just doing all sorts of weird shit. I don't know why it's doing that. It's kind of odd.
I'd say you'd need to clean your laser, but it looks pretty clean.
Yeah, I'll have to just get another mic. I'd probably be better off getting an old-fashioned trackball.
Oh,
I love those things, man. I love analog mouses. They just feel a lot
gotta
more.
clean your balls.
Eh?
Gotta clean your balls every once in a while, though.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like the analog.
What about the mouse?
I'm not the hugest fan of laser mice. Is that a mice? Is a plural?
Mouse devices is what you see in every manual, but like I like mouses. Mouses is nice.
Yeah, I'm a big Logitech fanboy. I got the C920 up there for a second angle. I've got the I've got the K120 keyboard, and I've got just whatever the hell this mouse is called. And the keyboard's been good, the webcam's been good, but the mouse, on the other hand, I'm having issues with. So I don't know. Maybe I should just go back to an old-fashioned trackball. I don't know. It's just nice to have the analog control. It kind of takes you back to the old days where you had like these joysticks and whatnot. It just felt so responsive, Playing Mario Kart on an N64 controller, it's so responsive. It's brilliant. I love that, the feeling.
Especially with the Nintendo 64 control stick with the... like when you use it for a few months, you get a nice dead zone in it. You get...
Yeah, somewhat. The controller that I had my controller for a good 5 years. I actually got good use out of that. It was kind of a mixed bag for me, really. I used the Pokemon one, the yellow one, the limited edition one that came with, because I have a Pokemon N64. I don't know if it came with Pokemon Stadium. I think it did.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it did, and it came with transfer pack and all that shit. And I got that on like 2000, I believe. I got it.
Okay.
I can't really get the absolute correct date, but I remember that's when I got it, and that's when I picked up Pokemon Red version as well with Stadium, and I played Red version on the emulator on Stadium, which was amazing because you can play in full color. I mean, you can do that with the Super Game Boy and whatnot, but it was nice to be able to do it on N64. And that emulator was great. I mean, it was cool. You could speed it up with the Dodrio Tower and all that, Dodua Tower or whatever it was called. But I had no problem with those controllers. I could use those for 5, 6, 7 years. And the joysticks I did notice the joysticks were starting to die a little bit because you move around and then it starts to wobble a bit. It kind of makes a clicking noise, and it's like it doesn't feel as smooth as it used to be. But
joysticks have come a long way since then, though.
Yeah, the PS4 controller, for example, I've had that thing for ages, and it still works fantastic. So it's obviously the technology's gotten better.
They figured it out. Yeah.
I mean, they only had 30 years to do it since the fucking Atari.
Yeah, actually, I kind of wonder though. The original PlayStation controller, that must have been almost on par with our current DualShock controllers that we get nowadays. But how come the Nintendo 64 didn't take a page out of the PlayStation?
I don't know. I think the thing that I love and hate about Nintendo is the fact that sometimes they'll just go against the grain, try something different. You know what I mean?
They're always different.
Yeah, that was their whole that's their whole MO really when you think about it. They just try to be different and just try new things, and I like that. It's better it's better to not just be another fucking PlayStation or another Xbox or Sony or Microsoft, whatever. Nintendo do their own thing, and it's proven to be very profitable recently because the Switch is just absolutely killing it in the market right now. And there's actually news of new Switches being made, which will be a lot more powerful apparently, or at least have more capacity and whatnot, which would be interesting because I kind of need to replace my Switch because Jesus Christ, I have some damaged pixels. I don't know if you guys can see that. Well, parts of the screen there's blue blobs on it. I believe it's probably water damage. I'm not sure, but I could have sworn I didn't spill anything on the thing.
Water damage would do a lot more than just that.
It's kind of. I think it might be a manufacturing error. I'm not sure. It might have just been just a fuck up on when they made this thing. But anyway, I've got Let's Go Pikachu. I've got
pressure on the screen.
Also, it's nice that they have the YouTube app on here now, so I can watch YouTube on this big ass screen while I'm out, shopping and whatnot. It's amazing. I really love that. Instead of having to look at my dinky little iPod Touch 5, I can look at this huge ass screen, which is awesome.
Need a Galaxy S10. Need a Galaxy Fold.
As you can see right now, I'm actually in the Cerulean Cave trying to get Chansey so I can level up everyone. I'm just trying to power level, as many Pokemon as I can right now, just so I can get evolutions and just try to beat some more Masters, so I can finally face Red when I beat 6 Masters. So we'll leave that for another time. Right now we're in the middle of a podcast, but
keep going.
Honestly, I feel like it would be interesting. I'd love to stream my Nintendo Switch again, like I used to a couple years ago. But I don't have the good internet right now. Like even if I was just to stream in lowest quality possible and then record and then upload the recording like I used to do, the stream wouldn't even work because my internet is so bad. I couldn't even stream, period.
You need the NBN.
Yeah.
Let's have that bloody discussion again.
I mean, if I could get it, dude, if I could get an upload of at least 14 megabits, that would be more than enough.
Yeah.
That would be fine. I'd be able to do 1080, 60, whatever. So hopefully one day that'll happen.
Maybe
not holding my breath,
but
I have faith in my government somewhat.
Yeah, dude, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know. That went out the window a long time ago, but
I'd like Labour to be.
I mean, they can't keep dicking around forever. Eventually, someone has to stand up and say, "Right, fucking do this now." It'll happen eventually.
Stop investing coal.
Stop making budgets and actually spend money on the people for a change.
Yeah, so it's more like stop trying to make money commercially.
Yes, stop trying to profit. Yeah, I get it. It's really complicated. All right, I'm not trying to be ignorant and just say like, oh, just do this. It's fucking complicated. There's so many factors that come into play. Like 75% of Australia is a barren wasteland. You got to realize this. And
well, you know what we could do? We can make it 100% and do all of the deforestation projects at once.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, most of Australia is a desert.
Yeah.
So laying cables down in nothing in the middle in large areas where there's nothing is expensive.
Trying to get the internet out to the remote communities, so that's...
let alone, the city. It's complicated and it's costly, It's not something that you can snap your fingers and then it's already rolled out. This takes several years, even a decade. Actually, it's been a decade since the NBN was announced. So, more than that, actually, more like 12 years. 2007, I believe. Kevin Rudd, your boy Rudd. Ruddy.
But it got pushed back. But there was, all that reform.
Look, I get it. There was a lot of... I mean, when you got a Labour government, there's a lot of conflict of interest internally, and you kind of have to try to please everyone, and sometimes that's impossible. Look, I get it. Politics is ridiculous, but really, I feel like both sides are on the same page when it comes to the internet. They're like, oh, fuck this shit, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel like the Labour government really wanted to push a very different type of internet. The Liberal government wanted to push the one that we've currently got.
Yeah,
and
you know,
that constant push was the reason why you still don't have it yet.
Yeah, and I'm still on an ADSL 2 Plus broadband connection that probably would have been relevant in 2001.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting 2 megabits download and 0.7 upload in 2019. Someone kill me! But you know, I in this age of streaming and whatnot, when demand starts to get ridiculous, like with the Google Stadius coming out, is that what it's called?
I don't know. What's
Google Stadius? I know, it's some streaming thing, like where you can stream games.
Hang on, I'm just going to look up competitor to Twitch.
Well, no, it's actually a console.
Yes,
or something like that. But whatever it is, what I'm trying to say is, when streaming becomes more competitive, more demand for streaming services, I should say, you know, what are you going to do? If you've got all of these people like me that have really piss poor internet, you know, that's really going to hurt your sales for these, you know, these new consoles, these new devices where you can stream television, gaming, whatever. You know, you really have to, progress really has to be made when it comes to internet infrastructure. Otherwise, not only do we suffer, but so do actual companies that are trying to sell things. You know,
yeah, but I mean, have you seen how the Liberal government got in with Rupert Murdoch's influence over the media? Like, the whole stick about you don't actually need the internet, do you? Just kill it.
Oh no, we don't need the internet at all. I'm just sitting on Discord talking to hundreds of people for no reason.
Yeah, well,
you know, I'm not doing any business on Discord. I'm not making money doing voice acting or voiceover work. You know, who needs the internet? Not me. I don't need to make my income to survive. It's fine. I'd rather just go broke. You know.
Christ. Yeah. No.
I mean, that's such an ignorant thing to say. That's such a boomer thing to say. A backwards boomer thing to say.
Oh, it's not even boomer. It's older than that. Way older than that.
Like EU boomer?
Oh, I mean like turn of the millennium, or whoever's barely just about to retire nowadays. Whatever that age is.
Oh, Jesus, baby boomers.
I mean, like, there's a decent amount of, you know, seniors who really like to, you know, push the internet and do everything on that.
And then there's some that just want to destroy it, like, you know, introducing Article 13 and 12, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like, okay, you can't really generalize generations into specific political influence.
No way.
You've got, like, very specific people that are doing their best to destroy everything.
But the people that the people in the EU were all like old men. They're like 60 plus, you know, and they're perfectly okay with, you know, the copyright laws that they rolled out. They're like, I won't do nothing.
I think it's got something to do with the money that they got for rolling those out.
Do you really think corruption is really still going on? I mean,
yes. What's going on?
I mean, when it comes to internet practices, because usually the corruption side of things usually comes from finance, as opposed to technology. I mean, you see people talk about technocracy and how that should be a new thing, and to some degree, I mean, if you look at China, it's you know, it does work somewhat. I mean, you do. I get it. With China. Is a very big player in the technological world, and you know, it's nice to be able to have them.
That's how Korea would be,
but they live in terrible conditions. It's a communist country, all right? It's awful. I remember when I still actually talked to my dad, like God knows how many years ago now. He actually met someone who wanted to move in with him, and my dad was actually telling me how she actually was forced to work, and she had to be home at a certain time and whatnot. Like, she couldn't be roaming the streets and whatnot. It was ridiculous. I don't know if that's still that way now, but just to give you some idea of a communist environment, it's basically like almost military. Like, everyone has to be like in uniform, and that's why when you see these Chinese factories, You see, it's almost like a freaking, like it's almost like a boot camp kind of environment. Everyone's wearing the same clothing, and they're all doing the same thing in sync. It's kind of scary, but like I said, China is very important to the Western world, because without the East's influence when it comes to tech, we've got nothing. We don't have the Samsungs, we don't have the Sonys, we don't have anything. We don't have the Shure mics. It's like...
I like how you go, we don't have the Samsung, that's South Korea. We don't have the Sony, that's Japan. We really need China.
Oh shit, I mean, most stuff is made in China.
Well, yeah, they get the materials from China.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, with iPhones, they're all made in China.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I mean, yeah, you're right about that. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. I was just generalizing, really. Most stuff is made in China, so chances are, if China didn't exist, most likely most of the stuff in this room wouldn't be in here.
I wouldn't be. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know about that, but
you look at my gooch. I got a little tattoo on it saying "Made in China." So TMI, Mark. Well, now I'm going to have to do that, so it's true. So it's part of the canon.
It's part of the manga.
Yeah,
I don't know. Fucking hell. It's part of the Matt and Mark unleashed manga.
Yeah.
So it's canon. The story of that, how Mark got a tattoo on his gooch. In the
no, it should be branded.
Where you just go like a cow, like just.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, wouldn't that you wouldn't be able to sit down for several weeks after something like that, would you?
Well, you lift the balls. You don't just go straight for it.
Well, naturally. I mean, how would you brand your asshole? Who's to say what's the right way?
$100 to get someone else to do it. Make it easy.
You'd have to pay someone to do that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you pay them, you can get them to put the blindfold on too. So
I could probably pay Johnny Knoxville to do it, but he's too old now. I don't think he'd be able to do it.
He might have a bit of PTSD from that. You've seen that where he had a dirt bike and he went right up with it, and then the dirt bike, like, he went off of it and it landed on his crotch, and he had to have a catheter inserted into his urethra for, I can't remember how long it was. It was months though. It was to stop it from scarring over and healing in, so that he can still piss.
Oh my god!
This is ages ago. This is like over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, this was back in the day. This was when Jackass was a thing and everywhere. And
yeah,
bloke
though.
Oh yeah, he's a great bloke.
That's how I remember him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm all hot and sweaty. What do you reckon? Should we wrap this up? How long have we been going?
I'll open the door.
You can open the door. I mean, these mics really don't pick up much background shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people do podcasts with these types of mics on a beach.
Oh.
And like you can barely hear any noise, so it's very nice. Obviously, they've got the gain turned all the way down, and they're really close like this. It's...
Yeah.
But
what are they doing to the mics on the beach?
Background noise, so I don't get slammed for copyright because an episode of Pokemon is playing on Channel Go out there. Yeah. It's nice to know. But anyway, I think we are done here. This was more of a new format that we're trying to roll out when it comes to podcasting. We're trying to be a little bit more informative, a little bit less BS. So this is good. I really like the way this turned out. So hopefully we can keep this up and try to do some more informative stuff. But that's pretty much all I want to talk about today. Thanks so much for watching.
I mean, if I got to say anything, it's like I kind of wish we could do more jokes. Kind of wish that we could.
Speaking of jokes, it's time for Don't Put Your Dick in That. I totally forgot about that. I don't want to miss that.
Oh yeah, well we can just browse the sub. I can sort it by top
Just give
top
me
of
a link.
the year.
Just DM me the sub link.
Should I open?
No. Don't
open in incognito mode. Okay.
Just DM me a link to the Reddit if you can.
I got 3 things to throw up that way. Actually, that top post there, that's an interesting one on the Today I Learned. It's the, what is it? Rady Thor. Literally a drink with radioactive isotopes in it.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That would be very painful, I believe.
Oh yeah. There it is, Radithor. An energy drink sold in the 20s, claimed it provided energy, cured a host of ailments including impotence. It was simply radium dissolved in water.
I'm pretty sure that would cause impotence.
Yeah. A little bit more than that too.
Cancer as well. Jesus Christ, because you're literally damaging your DNA, aren't you?
Well, yeah, you're knocking atoms out of their... Anyway, yeah.
So, first up on Don't Put Your Dick in That, we have...
This is a kid's toy. This is a kid's toy. Okay?
Oh boy. Wait a minute, is it like a stuffed Wailord from Pokemon? Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
Kinda?
Don't.
Oh no, I think it's just... Yeah, I think
Just
it
a
is.
whale.
Yeah, I think it is a Wailord.
It does look like it, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't have like a fin. I don't think the Wailord has a fin. And plus he's got like...
Tons of them.
Yeah, so... I don't know, but whatever that is, it's kind of...
Got some big pink lips.
Don't.
Fine.
Don't.
Whatever.
Don't. Whatever. Fuck you. Mark being a gentleman as usual. Alright, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, whatever, shut up. Fuck up.
No, I do what I want. You don't know me.
Don't put your dick in your PS4. I mean, why would you?
Okay, I'm quite questionable about this one.
I got my PS4 back there standing up, so it's way out of reach.
Want to turn it on?
Well, that's a dad joke if I ever heard one.
No,
Next.
the page didn't even load. Basically, a guy turns on the PS4 to see what a pussy smells like.
Jesus Christ. Mods are asleep. Upload something you should actually put your dick in. Automatic sperm extractor, aka put your dick in it. No, really.
It looks like the image isn't loading.
Wait, is this like one of those things that happen like in those sperm donor?
Well, yeah,
places?
but it kind of looks. Oh, you might want to move the window over to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so it's like a literal milking device.
Yeah, but like I'm kind of wondering where it shows up. Like, if you're going over a pedestrian crossing, is that gonna accidentally trip you up or? Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
But
guess I'm
it
gonna
is
be
a
late
good
for
idea.
work.
It is a good idea. It is a good idea. I mean, it's kind of awkward to jerk off in a hospital. It's nice to have a machine that literally do it for you.
Oh, you do it in a hospital. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Not something that you wheel next to a vending machine.
Oh no, it's not in the hospital. Okay, never mind then. Oh, these are like in a sperm place, I guess. I don't know.
Sperm place. That's the kind of place I want to work at.
Anyway, I guess we'll wrap this up.
Oh, don't peek. Careful. Sorry. No, you were peeking on the levels there.
Yeah. It's because I have to jack the gain up one more notch. Because if I turn it down one more notch, I start like peaking at like -12 for some reason. Turning up one notch somehow multiplies the volume like 3 times. So I don't know. Let me show you guys. Watch this. Yeah, explain that.
Why does it go down?
I don't know. I think it's just something with the circuitry in this audio box. I really need to get a Focusrite 2i2. I need to set that up properly. I need to get a new interface. I'm so sick of this audio box. It'd be nice to get the 2i2 running again.
Might be worth
I
seeing,
originally had a Focusrite 2i2 and it's been sitting in my closet, but I got rid of it and then I just went with the audio box. And then when Mark's like, "Hey, I got a mixer," and I'm like, gives me the mixer and I'm like, "This is shit. Give me back my audio box," because I gave him the audio box. Actually, I gave him my original Fast Track Pro from M Audio, which freaking screamed like a banshee at random times for whatever reason. Yeah,
it just did that constantly at that point, and I was like, I can't use this.
It was junk.
Really?
I mean, in all fairness, I did buy that thing in 2011, but it was kind of something that Alan's Billy Hyde kind of just shoved in my face and said, "You need this." And I'm like, okay, when I could have got a Focusrite or something a lot better, I had to get the M Audio just because, I don't know.
M Audio's got a good brand.
It wasn't terrible. I mean, the Fast Track Pro actually did a pretty good job at noise. I remember when I used to record with Eric and do some like Let's Plays back in 6-something years ago. It was okay. The noise was actually quite minimal. I was impressed.
It did work. It just failed.
Yeah, it's just old age. After a while, electronics just bite the dust. It happens. I mean, with these microphones like the SM58 and the SM7B, these things are built like absolute tanks. So it would take a lot to make these fail. I've seen radio studios use these mics for like upwards of 20 years. So, and I mean, obviously these things are built to last, and just some electronics are just a lot more susceptible to failure, unfortunately, and that's what happens. So, I don't know. We'll just get the Focusrite up and running again. That should be good. Definitely that'll be my setup in the future. Cloud lifter, Shure SM7B to cloud lifter to Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 second gen. That'll be the perfect chain, I believe. But anyway, you reckon? I think we're done, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of wish I could test other Shure mics, but we don't really have.
I mean, I do have some Samsung mics. One of them's broken. I've got an old Electro Voice, and I've got a karaoke mic, which is surprisingly good considering Mum paid $10 for it. It's actually quite. It's quite sensitive. Actually, you don't need much gain for it, which is good. But it's a little bit noisy. But that tends to happen with cheap electronics and magnets. You know, bad insulation means you get a lot of this. Or ground loop, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
But, anyway, we're done. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Take care.